Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. There was a featurette in the latest ATV on Outposts for Alpha 3.0 in a bit more detail than previously seen. This video is an overview of the important points talked about there, some of which are elaborated on further using the latest information to hand. Outposts can be procedurally generated and procedurally placed in the verse, but the process of their construction for Alpha 3.0 required them to get out the basic blocks, art, prefabs, props, set dressing, and much more to get the building sets ready. Moreover, the placement at the moment is much more artist-driven and purposely placed in 3.0. This will be changing in the future. For brands, the in-game artists are given a rough brief. For example, Rayari are a high-tech hydroponics lab that grows cutting-edge bioengineered plants for medical use, and has the they also give like a typical look for the brand, either like clean, organised, scientific, rough, oppressive, whatever. That is then conveyed in a visual method. This is an iterative process that the artist does. They build a set and then it's reviewed and then direction is given. For example, whatever's the prop placement or the way you've done this style should be more sterile or cleaner. The drugs farm is given as an example, and that looks quite sinister, and they've changed it so that it's got more sinister lighting and prop placement. With the tools at their disposal, CIG and Foundry 42 can make the placement of these scenes and outposts look really amazing, with striking vistas behind. They also look like, wherever they place them, that it's kind of been chosen to be built there in-game by someone. It's more believable, more realistic. This is one of the bonuses of their procedural assisted approach, with the artists actually taking time to choose a location where to place these outposts and buildings, and these outposts can only take a few seconds to place once a location is found. It's quite a quick process once they've chosen everything and once they've chosen how the outpost should be built. Major things affect the way the outposts look, however. So you've got weathering, the length of time the building's been there, the climate that it's in, the type of people that live there. When they integrate the outposts into planets or moons, they make sure you can see the appropriate dirt, rock, ice or biome type around and as part of the outpost. The exteriors of the outpost use blend maps to take on some of the texture information of the surface or biome where it is. And they can add more projected decals to the exteriors as well to add more detail. The effects are not static either. If you've got wear and tear, if you've got ice effects, if you've got this building's been here for many years, that can vary within biome as well. So they can choose how weathered something is, how much of that length of time that biome's affected it, and that will look visually different because of it. Also, is the structure been abandoned? Is it damaged? Are there people living there? The interiors have also had work to them defining the actual archetypes, whether they're medical, engineering, habitation, or other. These archetypes are used in conjunction with Brand, who owned and built the building, as well as the brief previously given to build props, rooms, and then the function of that area out. Shuban is a mining corp, not as nice a place to work as Rayari, but it's more functional and corporate than Rayari. There are more rundown corporations as well, like ArcCorp, that are dirtier and treat their workers very comparatively poorly and oppressively. Independent operations that exist as well, they're going to be typically less tidy inside, less order, less rules, more of a home away from home rather than a very clean like lab or something. They can build appropriate materials for their needs by putting in colours and themes that they want into Dataforge that can create textures much more quickly than doing everything manually, and this process can be used to really customise the outer look of the building so they can really brand it in quite a lot of ways. Brand decals are then added at appropriate places to provide the much more final flourished touches, but you might see these quite subtly done, like lines around the walls, just little signatures of a particular brand, not just brand logos everywhere. All of this outpost generation is effectively automated. They can put all the data they require, what biome it's going to be in, what brand it's going to be, the colours and everything, and the system will generate an outpost based on the size of their needs or whatever, and then they can place that. So outposts and points of interest need to look good in many different circumstances. Planets orbit and rotate, there's day and night. Different planets will be visible in the background. There's weather and more to consider as well. They can add more items, details and props to their outpost generation system as they go forward, and they'll add to all of that stuff as well. So if there's an issue or something breaks, they can easily fix all of the outposts simultaneously. They don't have to go and look at everyone individually. This includes exterior objects like radars, aerials, pathways, solar plant panels and plants, generators, flare, anything that's around the outpost, but also the internal props and objects like fans, lights, tables. These are all assisted by artists still at the moment, making the outpost look even better. The structure of this system is incredibly important with its naming conventions and ordering in their tool system. They create a prefab of the outpost type that they want from other objects and prefabs. Those outposts or buildings go into an object container that gets put into an outpost cluster preset, and those presets can then be spawned on a moon. The moon with its presets gets put into another object container which goes into a solar system, which then gets exported to the game. Eventually, the whole process will be a lot more streamlined, with much less artist interaction needed, additional prefabs and additions being made to outposts and buildings automatically and intelligently, as well as being much less complex. The system that they're building for that, the procedural assisted nature, will be able to place outposts and buildings and whatever they become in the future with those building sets in intelligent locations and places. And outposts are the first procedurally generated building that we see in Star Citizen in Alpha 3.0, but they will be part of a greater building set of other buildings, points of interest, complexes, bases, towns, and cities in the future. The processes are very similar for modular satellites and truck stops as well as space stations, but we'll talk about that in another video. Every month we try and give away a ship. For August, it's a Nox Q. All you need to do is be subscribed to my YouTube channel and comment on any of my Star Citizen content during the month. Do you have any questions about outposts, about content for Alpha 3.0, about Star Citizen's development in general, or about schedules or anything like that? A special thank you to all my Patreons who allow me to create the amount of content I do. If you're interested in becoming one of them, then a link to Patreon can be found below, as well as everything else we've talked about, the original ATV source, all of that sort of jazz. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really does help me, and I will see you in the verse.